Hello and welcome to John Allen Outside. I'm John. In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the shock cord in the tent poles for a Big Agnes tent. The tent that we'll be repairing today is a Big Agnes Tiger Wall UL2, but the technique should be very similar for any Big Agnes tent that uses a shock cord to connect the tent poles. It'll also be similar for other tent brands, although the pole configuration and shock cord size may vary a bit depending on the model of tent that you have. The shock cords in the Big Agnes tent poles provide tension to keep the poles snugly together when the tent is set up, and over time they can become frayed, break, or in our case become extremely stretched out. That's what happened here. As you can see, the shock cord is so stretched out that it's difficult to even get the poles together. Yep, this is pretty bad. Let me show you the poles from a different Big Agnes tent that are working properly. Notice how they keep the poles together nicely. That is how it's supposed to work. There's enough tension to hold the pole segments in place, but not so much tension that the ends slam together. Once you've decided that you need to replace your shock cord, the first thing you'll need is a new shock cord. I bought mine directly from Big Agnes and it was about $17 with shipping, and that was for 25 feet of 3 32nd-inch cord. Now, if you want to save a few bucks, another option is to buy from Amazon. It's not Big Agnes brand, but you can get an 18-foot section of 3 32nd-inch cord for about $4. I have never used this stuff from Amazon, so I can't speak to the quality relative to the Big Agnes brand. However, it does have pretty good reviews. On a side note, if you are replacing the shock cord on a larger tent, such as one for 3 or more people, you might need more than one package of cord depending on your pole configuration. In addition to the shock cord, you'll also need a small clamp, needle nose pliers, and some scissors. Optionally, some masking tape and a marker will also be helpful if you'd like to label your poles along the way. The Tiger Wall tent poles that we'll be working on today have 3 separate arms. The longer arm has 6 segments and the 2 shorter arms have 4 segments. Before doing anything, I'm going to use my masking tape and marker to label the segments so I don't get them mixed up or out of order. I'm just starting with number 1 at the center hub and going outward from there. Next, I'll disassemble the pole so I can remove the old shock cord. Let's start with the longer 6-segmented piece and fix that one first. At the center hub, you'll notice that there is a black piece that is kind of wedged in there. To get this out, push the old shock cord so the black piece pops up a bit, then use a needle nose pliers to grab it and pull it out. The other end of the tent pole simply unscrews. You should be able to do this by hand, but if it's stuck, then you may need to use some pliers. If you use pliers, do this carefully and use the pliers on the very end of the pole tip and not on the delicate pole itself, because if you damage the pole shaft, you might end up needing to replace it. In the rare case that you simply can't get the end unscrewed, you're going to need to cut the cord and tie it to a new piece. Now we'll remove all of the old shock cord from the 6-piece section that we're working on. You can either cut the old cord or untie it, either way is fine. Once that's done, get out your new shock cord, but don't cut it yet. Tie the end of the shock cord into a loop and hook it to the piece that screws into the end of the tent pole. Take the other end of the shock cord and thread it through each segment in order. Now put all the pieces together for this section. Cut the cord, leaving about a foot of cord sticking out of the end of the pole. Now stretch several inches of cord out of the end of the pole and then clamp it off so that you've created some tension and are using the clamp to hold it in place. You want this tension so that your poles snug together nicely when you're done. Without any tension, it'll just hang loose. Now thread the end of the cord through the hub, through the black hook piece, and then back through the hub again. Pull the cord so the black piece snaps back into place. Now tie it off at a length short enough for the tension to pull the poles together once you release the clamp. I'm just using a basic overhand knot and making it snug enough that it won't move around. I've seen people get real fancy with their knots here, but I like a simpler knot because it's going to be a lot easier to untie and adjust if the shock cord loses a bit of stretch over time. Before cutting off the excess cord, test the tension by releasing the clamp and making sure it feels right. You want it snug enough to hold the poles together, but not so tight that the ends of the poles smash together when you try to connect them. Adjust the length of your knot as needed, and when you are satisfied with the tension, you can cut off the excess. Now you're going to repeat the process for the two shorter pole sections. It's important to note that on the tiger wall that we're fixing today, the cord goes right through the hub, so only one piece of shot cord will cover both of these pole sections. After removing the old shot cord, start with the loop knot again and thread the shot cord through each pole segment on both sides, remembering to go through the hub in the middle. Assemble the pole sections and then use the clamp again to create some tension in the new shot cord. Now tie another loop knot to connect it to the end of the pole. You can adjust the clamp and the loop knot as needed until you get the tension right. Cut off any excess shot cord and you're all set. The tiger wall also has a short 2-segment section that you may want to inspect as well. Replacing the shot cord is exactly like what we just did, except on a smaller scale, as there are only 2 sections of pole and obviously no hub involved. So there you have it. This is a relatively easy repair that you'll likely need to do at some point if you own a tent that uses a shot cord in the pole system. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if there are other repair videos that you'd like to see. As always, if you found any value in this video, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks, and we'll see you out on the trail.